Seahawks Today coming up in just a moment. But first, the real ones here on Seahawks Today are not just the subscribers, but what we call the Noti Gang. Those are the folks that have their notifications turned on to Seahawks Today. For the latest happenings on your favorite team, we got you covered. If the Seahawks make a move, if there's breaking news of some sorts, we're going to make a video as quick as we can here on the channel. So if you love your Seattle Seahawks, you need to not just subscribe, but join the Noti Gang. Let us know in the comments section if you're part of that Noti Gang. Spam Noti Gang in the comments and hit that Noti bell to turn on notifications to stay alert with your Seattle Seahawks. Mailbag edition of Seahawks Today. Let's answer your questions, starting with a $5 super chat from one crazy Florida guy. I can tell you this right now, there's a lot more than just one crazy Florida guy out there. He says, do you think Tyler Lockett will get his 5th season over 1,000 yards? I was looking this up today. I believe he's around 750, somewhere around that range, I think is the number that he's at right now. 3 games to go. I would lean towards no. It's going to be very close. And he's capable, but think about this. You got to still distribute to DK, to JSN, to Noah Fant. They got to run the football too. Tall task ahead for Tyler Lockett. And he's been automatic the last several seasons of having 1,000-yard years. Unfortunately, if I were to guess right now, I would think that streak probably comes to an end. The Smitty Committee writes in, will Tyler Lockett return next season? Glad you asked that as far as Tyler Lockett goes. Man, you know, that to me, I would lean towards yes, but not confidently. He's getting paid a lot of money. He took a step back. We've seen JSN's role increase with this Seahawks team. I mean, the future is in JSN, right? It's DK and it's JSN as your top 2 receivers for the future. I mean, we might even be talking about next year. I think we will be talking about where JSN assumes the number 2 receiver role and Tyler Lockett moves to the number 3 spot. I mean, I think he's back, but it's not a foregone conclusion just yet. Maybe this is where Schneider tries to capitalize and get something out of Tyler Lockett. I lean towards that he's back, but not a 100% guarantee. Should the Seahawks go ahead and trade off Tyler Lockett now and get something out of it? It's our pinned comment today. What do you think? T for trade, K for keep. Is it time to move on from Tyler Lockett? Weigh in that comment section. Let us know if you believe he should be moved. Sad Sherman writes in, what are the chances the Seahawks bench Geno Smith for Drew Lock? Now that, I can tell you, at least for this week, is settled. 0. Not happening. Not happening, said Sherman. They're not benching Geno Smith. Drew Lock played well on Monday. No one's denying that. He did a great job for a backup. At the end of the day, he's still a backup quarterback. Drew Lock could be my backup quarterback for the next decade, and I'd be thrilled. If the Seahawks got that version of Drew Lock as their backup quarterback, what we saw, I'd be more than okay with that. But he's still your backup. Geno, say what you want about Geno. I know that he's had down here and everything and hasn't quite, been to the expectations that we've seen from Geno, from last year. But Geno still, I would want in crunch time over Drew Lock of making some of those necessary throws and the ability to stretch the field and command the offense. This is still Geno's team. He's still the better quarterback. Unless Geno just looks awful and isn't 100% healthy and all that, there's just no way that's going to happen. Now, next year, it's going to be an interesting story. Is Geno going to be back? Are they going to bring in somebody else? Or is it Drew Lock potentially? What do you guys think? Should Geno be the starter next year when the Seahawks open up the 2024 season? Let me know. Y for yes, N for no. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. You pick 2 or more players in any given category, from fantasy points to passing yards, pass completions, and more. And you can mix and match different leagues, NFL, college football, maybe some NBA, NHL, MLB, all sorts of stuff to choose from. And this week, you know that I had to go with a couple of Huskies. With the college football playoff around the corner, Washington taking on those Texas Longhorns, I'm going with the more on the 1-2 combo of our Washington Huskies. With Michael and the gang, like these guys are just awesome. I'm going with more on both these guys. And then our old guy Russ this week, I got less than 202.5 passing yards in their matchup. Let's say I put $20 down on this, then that can turn into $100 on Prize Picks. So, what are you waiting for? Link is in the comments and description of today's video. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Promo code CLNS for a $100 deposit match. Prize Picks, proud partner of Seahawks today. Cincinnati Seahawks writes in. We're on to Cincinnati. If we do end up going 10-7, how deep do you think we can go? 10-7, I think at that point you're probably looking at a opening round matchup against the Lions. I think you can beat the Lions. Already beat them on the road this season. Beat them on the road last year too. So then you're looking at the divisional round. And then, I mean, what? You could be playing at that point, just off the top of my head, what? Dallas, Philly, San Fran. I mean, you went toe-to-toe with Philly. You beat Philly. You went toe-to-toe with Dallas. The only team I would really fear is San Francisco. I mean, best case scenario, absolute best case scenario, conference championship. But it's going to take a lot still to get to that point. One game at a time, as they say. Virgil, my guy, writes in. Does Riq Woolen need to sit down the rest of the season and properly heal? He seems to need fundamental help. He can work out in the off season. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not gonna say whether he needs to sit out or not. But it has been a sophomore slump. It has been a down year for Riq Woolen. Hasn't been what we expected to see out of him. But I'm not concerned. I think Riq Woolen's going to step back up. He'll bounce back and be okay. I don't necessarily know if him sitting is going to be the resolution here, but we'll see. It's a good question. Cody writes in, do you think Seattle will draft a linebacker high to eventually become Bobby's replacement and train under his wing? Love for 54. So this is one thing that I think kind of gets old, okay? The idea of that you bring in a player to sit under a guy. Like, I get it for a quarterback, but the expectation should be for about any other position that if you bring in a guy, you're bringing them in to compete with the expectation of them trying to win a starting job from day one. So I'm not sitting here trying to draft a guy and be like, well, he could replace Bobby one day and, we're all going to sing Kumbaya and drink chocolate milk together. No. If I'm drafting a guy with the potential of like, hey, I want him to be my starter one day, I want him to be my starter right now and have the capabilities to do so. So maybe you do draft a linebacker, but it's not with the idea of like, oh, they might replace Bobby one day. No, it's to go ahead and compete. See if he can take Bobby's job as far as I'm concerned. Why not? Go hard. Go compete. Now, the likelihood of beating out Bobby Wagner is another story. But no. The idea shouldn't be like, he could train under his wing. No. Go compete. Best man win. Brant's NASCAR writes in. Drive fast, eat ass. Hashtag Seahawks. You think we should try and trade for a QB with potential that has not looked well? Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, Malik Willis for cheap, or just go ahead and draft. Mac, cooked. Zach Wilson never was. Malik Willis never was. I don't want to retread. The only one I might consider is Justin Fields. He's shown some flashes, and he hasn't been set up to succeed in Denver. Smitty, what did you say? Oh, yeah, we tried that with Drew Lock. That didn't work. Yeah, I mean, I'm not interested in doing the retread route. You go to the recycle bin for a reason. I'm staying away from the recycle bin. But Brent NASCAR, great question. Daytona will be here soon enough. Thanks for joining us. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications. Stay alert what's going on with your Seattle Seahawks. We got you covered here on the channel. See you next time.